Hello, everybody. My name is Meg Horn. I'm a travel sales manager here at AAA Northeast. I'm joined by my colleague, Stacy Crowley. First off, thank you guys so much for joining us this afternoon. We're so excited today to talk to industry leaders in our favorite city, Las Vegas. I know we're all looking forward to our next opportunity to win big at one of the iconic casinos, check out a spectacular show, fill up at a buffet, and explore the one and only Vegas Strip. Today, we have our partners from MGM Resorts International, as well as the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. We'll learn about their reopening strategies and what travelers can expect in the upcoming months and into 2021. Here at AAA Northeast, safety and advocacy are pillars of our brand. And now, more than ever, we want to ensure that our travelers have all of the resources and support they need to travel confidently when the time is right for them. This is why we've created the Travel Center, a simple and central resource to keep members informed on changes and updates in the travel industry. Our agents are all in the process of becoming Smart to Part certified. Smart to Part certification means that our agents are poised and ready to assist and support our members with their travel plans in our new landscape. Using a travel agent is more important than ever these days, and a Smart to Part certified agent can help secure your plans and the peace of mind that is needed in today's world. Before we get started, I just want to do a quick housekeeping review. Just so you know, all the participants are in fact muted right now, but we would love to hear from you. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to just pop into our chat box and we'll go ahead and keep an eye on those throughout the presentation. As mentioned, my colleague Stacy is here with me. She's kind of monitoring those questions as we go along, and there will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation, and we'll address all your questions. Just as a heads up, this is being recorded, so should you have any questions or want to go back and take another peek, you can go ahead and find it at AAA.com/travel center in the next network. So we are joined here today by industry experts, and I can't wait to hear what they all have to say about Vegas. So first off, we have Adolfo, and he is the Director of Global Sales for the MGM Resorts, and he's joined by Joel, who's the sales executive at the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. So let's dive right in. Joel, what can AAA members look forward to when visiting Las Vegas?
Well, thank you so much for that great introduction, and so happy to be with all your members this afternoon. Las Vegas, like all of the leisure destinations or anywhere else in the world, have obviously had to pivot. We've used that word quite a bit as to what we need to do as a destination to still be able to deliver a service level and an experience to our visitors, especially those that are AAA travel members. That has changed. And we've had to obviously adjust, but we're confident that, and we're already seeing visitors coming back to Las Vegas. And what is of utmost importance is that we can deliver experience, but also service levels, but in a safety protocol manner. And we're going to cover a little bit about what we are doing within our state of Nevada to accomplish that, but also have a little fun and to share a little insight on some of the new things that are going on in our city as well. We are, of course, our doors are open and we are welcoming visitors back. My organization that I'm a part of with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, we are funded by the visitor tax revenue into marketing the destination. So all of the revenue that we take in goes back into marketing the destination. So if all of you out there have ever heard the slogan, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," that was our previous slogan that we've recently just changed to "What happens here only happens here." We're really proud of the evolved destination we've become, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. Next slide. So Las Vegas and what you can expect. So here, the Las Vegas Strip clearly is, legendary. It's known throughout the world, and we're 150,000 rooms in the city. Not quite all properties are open as of yet, but we're working on getting there. But we're really excited on the hotels that we're able to reopen back on June 4th, and what we are doing right now to still offer as best a COVID related Vegas experience possible. So first and foremost, we do have to, of course, follow our Nevada government guidelines as well as the gaming control guidelines, and I'll talk a little bit more what that means. But as I mentioned earlier, resort safety and safe return, that is our priority. It's priority for the hotels, for their own employees, of course, but also we want to make sure that when you're coming to Las Vegas, we don't want that experience to be entirely compromised. But of course, with the pandemic that we're dealing with and the safety protocols we have put in place, we're going to talk a little bit about our Vegas Smart campaign and what we're doing as a destination to accomplish that. So phase 2 reopening, and we're kind of, the governor of Nevada recently just had a press conference, and we're getting away from kind of the nomenclature of using phases. But we've reopened restaurants and retail, salons and spas, and of course you can see all the bullet points here as far as what we've reopened. We're not necessarily though at full 100% capacity, so we do have capacity constraints on some of these on these venues as we've reopened. But we're working through that, and of course, as like any state, as our COVID cases continue to, and we want to, of course, decline, we'll be able to increase the capacity we have at all these different venues. So some of the safety protocols, and I'm not going to steal the thunder from my great colleague Adolfo with MGM Resorts, but I just want to mention some of the things of what you can expect if you are choosing Las Vegas as your destination. You will see that many properties are putting temperature checks, touchless temperature checks for visitors that are coming into the properties. Face masks are now mandated throughout the entire state of Nevada in all public spaces. So initially it was, employees were wearing mandated face masks, but now it is across the entire state of Nevada, which changed back on June 26th moving forward. Hand sanitizer and hand washing stations, staggered restaurant seating. I want to mention about casino game spacing. So we do have plexiglass barriers at a number of the properties that are between the players and the dealer or the players themselves. So not every hotel has adopted to that, and they're working towards that, of course, but that obviously is a pretty important component that we're seeing most of the properties go in that direction, that eventually we'll get there until we obviously see our drop in our COVID cases and can kind of loosen up a bit on that. And then, of course, there's other things that we're doing. You can read the bullet points about social distancing markers and digital innovations with number of properties, and Adolfo, I know, will cover kind of the technology side of being able to encourage guests to use their smartphones to check in at the properties, which is having some great success. So Vegas Smart. So as a destination, we're based on attracting visitors really, from the Northeast where you reside, hopefully, but really from around the world. It's important that restaurants or hotels and attractions implement health and safety protocols. We want to ensure, of course, our visitors feel confident about coming to Las Vegas. And that's the reason why we did create this citywide initiative called Vegas Smart. This enforces the message of the fun and energy and entertainment of Las Vegas remains the same, but also with a new twist. It's about being mindful of your surroundings and thoughtful of others, keeping your social distance, wearing mandatory face coverings, washing your hands. But first and foremost, it's also about not traveling if you feel unwell. We developed this initiative overall for the destination. Each of our resort partners have developed kind of their own detailed health and sanitation plan that you hear about a little bit later. But this is a website that you can visit to get the most current updates on what's going on with COVID-19 within Las Vegas through our website, our consumer website. You can see here, Visit Las Vegas, or if you have your camera phone handy, you can take a picture of the QR code. So we are so committed to this initiative. It's so important that we got to make sure you feel confident coming back and that you're safe coming back to the destination. So the legendary Strip, as I mentioned earlier, with all the hotels that we have in Las Vegas, 150,000 rooms, one of the largest, inventory of rooms, of course, of any city, obviously in the United States and in the world. But have things changed a little bit? Absolutely. But we're really excited, that we were able to reopen. And I can tell you, the employees across many of our hotels were so excited to reopen and get back into delivering that service experience that Las Vegas is known for. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the new hotels that are coming online, as well as some other areas of downtown, and also some activities that you might consider. So downtown Las Vegas, has come a long way. Downtown Las Vegas may have had a reputation, if it's been a while since you've maybe traveled there, being a little seedy and maybe questionable. And I can tell you that our city has made an incredible investment to really create a entertainment, theater, arts type district that downtown Las Vegas now has a personality of. Starting with our Fremont East District, you've seen a big investment now with different restaurants and bars and so forth that have kind of reopened and create this kind of a different vibe. You see a kind of a pedal pub, different experience, but really downtown, as I mentioned, has taken on a different personality, and we're excited for that. It's really created a destination in and of itself to provide guests a different type of experience that they may be looking for to complement their stay if they're staying on the Strip. Next slide. So you may not recognize this after we made a change, but the Fremont Street Show, right? So exciting. It's our Viva Vision 2020 show. So we've given a little bit of a different name, but we spent $32 million to upgrade this show. It is now 7 times brighter and 4 times the resolution of the previous show. It's 14 million pixels. Every light was replaced. All the panels were taken down. You can still zip line if you haven't tried the Slotzilla. You can zip line either Superman style or sitting. Such a fun experience. I've done it myself to try to just take in all the lights of downtown in the Fremont Street Show. We're really excited that this enhancement has been made that gives a little bit more, even more life and vibrance to the downtown area. So something to check out if downtown can be on your to-do list. We also have the Container Park. Now, this is rather new to the downtown area. This is a great family-friendly activity as well as a free attraction. Container Park is a repurposed shipping container venue that has many restaurants, retail shopping. If you could advance to the next slide. And you can see here by the slide, there's a park there for families. There's actually not in this slide, but there is a stage for live music as well. But you can see restaurants and shopping. So these are past shipping containers that have been repurposed and reconstructed for this whole kind of neat outdoor experience. And I can tell you that we have, social distancing is in place, of course, with this, but this is something new. It's been out there for maybe just a couple of years, but we're really excited that this has been a great enhancement to the downtown area. Next slide. And then we have the Mob Museum. The Mob Museum is just a few blocks off Fremont Street. It's a great history, has great artifacts of the downtown, of history, organized crime in the United States, from Las Vegas to many other cities. It's a self-guided tour, great exhibits. They open up a speakeasy bar in the basement of the venue, as well as an operating distillery. Really fascinating. I'm not biggest history buff, but I'll tell you, going through this museum, really learned a lot. It's a very affordable museum, and it is open, but they will stagger how many people are in the museum at one time to make sure they have safety protocols in place. But really entertaining museum to check out. We also have the Neon Museum, again, only a few blocks away from downtown on Fremont, from the Fremont Street Experience. This is where a lot of the old signs have found their new home. Those that have departed over the years, from the Stardust to the Riviera, to the Westward Ho, to the Dunes. Great outdoor tour you can take either during the day or in the evening. I would recommend doing the evening because the lights are lit up when it's dark out. It's about an hour tour, very affordable. It is reopened. They have reduced the amount of folks in each group, but again, adds a little entertainment, little history component to the downtown area, and again, very walkable from Fremont Street, only a few blocks away from downtown. And I want to mention a new hotel opening up called Circa Resort. This is the first new hotel on downtown's Fremont Street in over 40 years. Now, their casino opens October 28th and their rooms will open December 28th. Next slide. So to to give you some perspective, they will have 6 rooftop pools that is part of their stadium swim experience. You can see by the slide there's a 135-foot wide LED TV that will be part of this whole stadium swim experience. So it's almost an amphitheater type style of pools where you can rent cabanas or day beds. There, of course, are pool chairs. Now, all of these amenities will open before the rooms do, so you can book a reservation for this. But talk about a really different, unique experience, and some of these pools will be heated year-round as well as an additional amenity. Next slide. They also will have a 3-story sports book. Will be one of the largest, if not the largest, in all of Las Vegas. That will, again, be opening October 28th. So if you love sports betting, nice place to enjoy that. Here's a room shot of the Circa Resort. Now, again, the rooms open December 28th, but all their restaurants, their pool experiences, their sports books, that will open on October 28th. So we're excited to see a new Circa Resort opening in the city. We also have a new hotel opening next year in the summer of 2021 called Resorts World Las Vegas. This will be 3 stories, 3 towers, 3,400 rooms total. They will have a 200,000 square foot pool complex with the first infinity pool experience on the Strip. They also will be building a 5,000 seat theater for entertainment and residencies. Resorts World will have a Hilton affiliation, and this is being built on the old site of the Stardust Hotel on Las Vegas Boulevard, across from Wynn & Encore. So we're excited to see this new hotel coming online in Las Vegas next year. Here's a quick room shot of what to expect for when Resorts World opens up. And again, another room shot. So again, look for this new property opening up next year, everybody, of 2021, and hopefully earlier if you get into Las Vegas. You got to make 1 trip a year at least, hopefully annually. And then this is what the old Hard Rock Hotel used to be. Sadly, you may be sad to learn that the Hard Rock Hotel was purchased by Richard Branson, who owns the Virgin Hotel brand. So by the end of this year, this property will reopen as the old Hard Rock Hotel, now under the new Virgin Hotel brand that is part of the Curio Collection by Hilton. And here's a rendering of the front lobby, but we're very excited to see what the new images and all the new hotel rooms and the chambers that they call them. We're excited to see this new hotel open up. So if you were ever a Hard Rock fan and you love the Center Bar or some of the other landmarks that the Hard Rock was known for, sadly that is now in our past, and we have now to look forward to the new Virgin Hotel. Professional sports, the Northeast, you guys are pretty diehard sports fans. You know, you're hockey fans, I hope. We have our Golden Knights hockey team that's in Las Vegas, a Vegas-born team that opened in 2017. We have soccer with the USL Las Vegas Lights, the WNBA women's basketball team called the Las Vegas Aces. We have the Aviators, which is the AAA baseball team affiliation of the Oakland A's. They have their own 10,000 seat stadium in Summerlin, located just a few short miles from Las Vegas Boulevard. And then the Raiders, that might be the logo you recognize the most. So we are so excited that we are finally able to say they are the Las Vegas Raiders. They have moved from Oakland. They are in our city. They are now our team, our home team. Allegiant Stadium is finished. It's opening just in, I think, officially tomorrow, July 31st. 65,000 seat stadium, glass dome stadium, located just on the opposite side of the highway, very close to a lot of the MGM resorts. There will be overpasses that guests and fans, of course, can walk across the highway to get to the game. We also are hosting the Pro Bowl on January 31st. I do know that they are hosting the Buffalo Bills, so I know many of you may live in the Northeast, may not all be a Bills fan, but I know that's one of the home games that they will be hosting. Now, of course, with the NFL season, we're waiting to make sure and see kind of where that's going to go. But to have this $2 billion great asset now of a stadium in Las Vegas, we could not be any more thrilled for that. We also have the T-Mobile Arena, which is a 20,000 seat arena that was built right on the Las Vegas Boulevard between Park MGM and New York, New York. And that is the home of the Golden Knights. Hockey, very popular. You have plenty of teams in the Northeast. Hopefully when your team is playing Las Vegas, and they're always going to have guaranteed one game Eastern Conference will always play a Western Conference team at least once, back and forth. So if I know any of your AAA travel consultants can help assist you on maybe securing tickets, and of course we as the LVCVA can help assist that as well. But hockey in the desert has been incredibly popular. We're so excited to finally have that team and have had it now for the last 3 years. Now, the Vegas Loop, I wanted to mention quickly, this actually will be the first ever underground tunnel system that's connecting our 2 convention centers that the LVCVA owns. One that's off the Strip and the new one that will be opening in January of next year on the old site of the Riviera. The Boring Company, which is owned by Elon Musk, who invented the Tesla car, these tunnel systems will have 16-person Tesla self-moving autonomous cars that will bring you between at least 2 miles of our convention center within about a 3-minute period. We are so excited that this is the first of its kind. We have never had a subway or a tunnel system ever in Las Vegas. But if we see some success with this, we really are hoping then we'll see some extension of that into other places within Las Vegas that could extend to the airport, to the stadium. So keep your eye on this. The Vegas, we call it the Vegas Loop, but it is our underground tunnel system that is brand new in the destination, opening in January of next year. We have plenty of fun activities for you to consider. We've got the Fly Link, which is the zip line that runs between the high roller observation wheel and the between the Flamingo and the Link Hotel. So a very fun zip line experience right on Las Vegas Boulevard. We also have a new karaoke bar that opened over in the Grand Canal Shops over by the Venetian. Next slide. This they host 40 different uniquely designed karaoke rooms. I know not everybody might be karaoke, but when you get to Vegas, we are the adult freedom destination, and you might find yourself in bed with a microphone in hand and hopefully enjoying. But you can see very eclectic details of some very unique styled karaoke rooms. But this opened up just a few months ago, something maybe new to try on the Strip if you're out there with some friends or family. The Barbershop is a speakeasy bar that's over at the Cosmopolitan. If you look at the top image on the left, upper left, there's a door that says janitor on it. It's the white door. Once you open that door, it opens you to the slide below that, or the image below that, which is a speakeasy bar. So again, this is over. You can actually go to the barbershop and get a old school kind of a shave and cut, but they pride themselves on kind of this new a speakeasy, behind a hidden gem kind of insider tip. So again, kind of a cool, different place to experience. Action and adventure, we have plenty of that. We have helicopter rides to Grand Canyon or over the Strip at night. You can get behind the wheel of a Porsche or a Lamborghini, take it around the racetrack. You can either do that as a driver or a passenger through companies like Speed Vegas or Exotics Racing. You can get in the cab of a bulldozer out in the desert and lift some tires and dig holes. I believe that's only 6 years old is how the minimum age of a little one that with their adult that can get in the cab with that. And you got the high roller observation wheel that I mentioned earlier. You also have zip lining, Bootleg Canyon. You can zip line from peak to peak. You can do a dune buggy out in the desert. You've got different state national parks like Bryce Canyon or Valley of Fire. Loads and loads of activities, please. Everybody, don't forget the amount of parks that are outside Las Vegas that are a very feasible drive within a day to experience if you're looking for a little variety. Recreation and wellness, we have great spas, of course, that they're open for massages, and so they're social distancing and obviously restricting how many people are coming through. We also have a Top Golf venue located behind the Signature at MGM Grand, which is a really neat venue if you've ever experienced it. Great view of the Strip with that. And we have plenty of shopping, high-end retail shopping. Next slide. To outlet shopping. So any brand you want to find in Vegas, I'm pretty confident you'll be able to find it. In romance and weddings, we have great options for destination weddings. Even if you are married, vow renewals, don't underestimate the power of vow renewals. I've done it myself with my wife and with some family and friends, and it was really, really a fun time. Bachelorette trips are very, very popular, but it's very easy to get married in Las Vegas. And please know we are more than a drive-through chapel with Elvis. We have some amazing backdrops from Red Rock Canyon and Reflection Bay Golf Course out in Lake Las Vegas, and there's very unique wedding experiences as well. So, so with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for your time. We have plenty to do in Vegas, believe me. Even with this crisis, the amount of activities are still very, very abundant, and I can tell you that we're taking the safety protocols to make sure you feel safe doing that. So with that, I will transition that over to my great colleague Adolfo Lopez with MGM Resorts.
Thanks, Joel. Adolfo, are you good to go? Let's see here. Looks like you might still be muted, Adolfo. We'll get him up. One second there.
I think I am.
There you go. Perfect. All right, you have the floor, Adolfo.
How about now?
Yep, you are good.
Okay, perfect. I apologize for that. I had to change devices midway in, so I apologize.
All good.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. And again, I'm Adolfo Lopez, Director of Global Sales with MGM Resorts, and we'll just go over some high-level overviews of what's happening and how the landscape has changed in this unprecedented time here in Las Vegas. And so, I'm sorry, which slide are we on right now?
The MGM Resort 2020.
Okay, perfect. I just wasn't sure if it was one behind. I apologize for that.
If
we can go to the next slide here. MGM Resorts does have 13 resorts on Las Vegas Boulevard. You can see them here. Starting at the bottom of the slide, we have Mandalay Bay and Delano. We also have the Mandalay Bay Event Center there, where that is home to the Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA team that Joel mentioned earlier. Next door to that, we have the Luxor Hotel. Next to that is Excalibur. Across the street, we have New York, New York. And right next to New York, New York, we have the T-Mobile Arena, home of the Golden Knights. Across Las Vegas Boulevard, you'll see MGM Grand, home to the Grand Garden Arena. And then next to that, you see the Signature Hotel. Back across the street, in between New York, New York and Park MGM, there's an outdoor area called The Park. And this has a lot of new dining options for people. It's really fun. My favorite place to go is Beer House. They have a really fun beer menu, but they have a full open bar. So if you don't drink beer, but you're drinking wine and cocktails, you can also get that there. They have live entertainment. Sometimes we put some foosball tables out, ping pong tables, giant Jenga. So it's a really fun atmosphere, and it is the hub for all pre and post games of the Golden Knights. And so it's a really fun place, even if you don't have tickets to the game, to go and get the party started and watch the drumline and cheerleaders take the crowd into the arena there. Next to that, we have Park MGM. And at the top of Park MGM, we have a 293 boutique hotel, room hotel called Nomad Las Vegas. Next to that, we have Aria and Vidara. Across from that, we have the Bellagio with the iconic fountains. And further north up the strip, we finally have Mirage. So those are the 13 properties that we have here in Las Vegas. Over 36,000 rooms and suites. We are home to 5 of the Cirque du Soleil shows, as well as Blue Man Group. We have over 470 food and beverage experiences across our properties and over 300 retail experiences as well. So we have something for everybody, depending on their budget. They have it in food and beverage, hotel, and activities. So we're going to touch a little bit on the current climate. Right here, this beautiful shot, this is Lago at Bellagio. This is one of my newest favorite restaurants there by Chef Julian Serrano. This is a tapas food. It's Italian food served tapas style. So that means it's smaller plates, so you can have a little bit more experience, all sorts of different of your favorite dishes there. So on March 17th, all of our MGM Resorts properties closed. Pretty much all of Las Vegas closed on March 17th, and we remain closed through June through June 3rd, and we reopened 3 properties on June 4th. And we started with Bellagio, MGM Grand, the Signature at MGM Grand, and we also opened with New York. Shortly after, we started opening additional properties. So the only properties that are not yet open within our portfolio would be the Mirage, Park MGM, and Nomad. Those 3 are currently accepting reservations for August 27th and beyond. We don't have an official opening date for them. That can change depending on the situation. We have upped our game when it comes to health and safety standards. If you visit our corporate website, www.mgmresorts.com, you can download our full 15-page health and safety guideline, and that is called our 7-point safety plan. If we go over to the next slide, I'll go ahead and touch on that. You can see the 7 points there. Online, they are laid out in complete detail. And the picture that you see is a custom-made hand washing station that our team designed for all of our properties. And we place these strategically around the casino areas so that people can properly wash their hands. And this is for employees and for guests to use. And on the side of these, we also have hand sanitizer dispensers, and we also have masks and gloves for guests to use as well. And those are complimentary. If they forget them or if theirs get soiled or lost, we have fresh new ones for them as well throughout our property. It is mandatory that anytime somebody's in a public space in the state of Nevada, they have to have a mask on. This is as mandated from the governor of Nevada. This isn't an MGM rule. We are following the guideline. If we don't follow the guideline, we are at risk of being closed down by the Nevada Gaming Commission and by the states. And so we don't want that to happen. So if anybody's not properly following the guidelines for social distancing or wearing a mask, our employees will politely ask them to follow those guidelines. If they don't want to follow the guidelines, we will very professionally and politely ask them to leave the property because we do put our business at risk of being closed down. All of our employees are temperature checked upon arrival to work. They will go through a screening process. If they're not feeling well or if they don't meet the temperature standards, they will be sent home and they will not be allowed to come onto the property until they are feeling better. We do have access to COVID testing for all of our employees. And so I've gone and got my test. It's very easy, very quick, and you get your results within a matter, I think I had mine in less than 12 hours. We're also practicing social distancing all across our property. We have signage, new signage located everywhere. We have signage on the floors as well in the lobby areas. And so that way, if anybody's standing in a check-in line or at the concierge line waiting for a restaurant, there are stickers on the floor to remind guests to social distance and not get too close to everyone. Again, we have enhanced sanitation areas, as we spoke about earlier with the hand washing stations throughout the property. We have state-of-the-art HVAC systems in all of our properties, and we have tapped into those resources, and we're making sure that we're firing off on all cylinders, that we're using those HVAC with 100% to their capacity, increasing the airflow into these casinos. These are some very large buildings with thousands of rooms. Our largest property is MGM Grand with over 5,000 rooms, and so we are allowing time for those rooms to get the proper circulation in there. And so right now, we are only operating at 50% capacity. That's what we're allowed to operate at. We don't want to operate higher than that to allow for social distancing on our properties, but it also allows us to rotate our room product. So if somebody checks out today on a Thursday, that room will probably not go back into rotation until tomorrow because we have the inventory on property to be able to use a room that had been sitting there, has been cleaned, and has been not touched by anybody since it's been cleaned. And what our housekeeping staff is doing is, once the room has been cleaned, once it has been inspected, the final inspection, they put a sticker over the door. And so that sticker must be intact when you enter into your room. If it's broken, the guest should go back to the front desk and advise that it's been broken, and for some reason that has been tampered with. And so we're trying to really making sure that the guests feel comfortable when they're going to their rooms with our cleaning protocols. We do have incident response protocols. We have medical staff on properties. We also have fully trained security staff to assist. If anybody's not feeling well, we can get them a test, we can get their temperature taken, and if needed, we can isolate them, and if needed, we can get them the proper medical attention at one of the hospitals in the area. My favorite part of this whole 7-point plan is our digital innovations. We encourage everybody to please download the free and very easy to use MGM Resorts mobile app. If we move on to the next slide, actually, I'm sorry, it's not going to be on this particular presentation. I've been doing too many different webinars. The mobile app is very cool. You can find your reservation on there. You can check in to your room, and you can even use it as a digital key to get to your room. So that creates pretty much a contactless check-in. And so for those travelers who want to travel but are still feeling a little bit uneasy about standing in lines and standing next to a front desk agent, even though we have the plexiglass up around, that is an option for them if they have a smartphone to be able to check in and use that phone as their key. We've also taken that digital innovation and applied it to our restaurants. When you go up to a restaurant, if you don't have a reservation, I highly encourage you have reservations, but if you don't have a reservation, at the hostess stand, there is a QR code. You can scan that QR code with your camera. It will allow you to punch in a time that you want to have dinner. You put in 4 people, 7:30 p.m. It takes your reservation if there's availability, and you can walk around the property, go about your day, and then they will alert you on your phone when it's time to come back to the restaurant. Once you get seated, the table will have a QR code on one of the coasters. You scan that QR code and you will have a digital menu. Our payment system is also digital as well. If you have a tap card, if you have that Wi-Fi symbol on your credit card, you can just tap it against the machine. They will bring it to your table, and then off you go. If you don't have that tap, it's very easy. You just insert your card into the machine and you punch your tip in, and then everything's taken care right there. Your card is not removed from the table anymore. Moving on to our Stay Well program, the product that you see here on your screen, we're very proud of this program. It started originally at MGM Grand in 2012. It's been highly successful. Very shortly after, we introduced it at Mirage. After that, during our $500 million renovation at Park MGM, we added the program there. Most recently, we've taken this program to New York, Excalibur, Luxor, Bellagio, Aria, Vdara, and very soon to Mandalay Bay. So most of our properties will have this program. The concept is for wellness travel. Wellness travel has been quite a buzz for a few years now, and it's still a buzz here in Las Vegas as well. And I know that typically people would not associate wellness travel with Sin City, but we have it as an option. Not everybody comes for complete debauchery into Las Vegas. There are people who are living a healthier lifestyle, and we want to help support that. So what's included in the Stay Well room? Well, you can see on the wall there in the back, there's a machine with a blue line across it. That is an air purification system. Every so often, the entire air in the room is completely cleaned through there. So it's taking particles and it's taking dust and everything out of the air and cleaning it for you. I think it's something like every 7 minutes you have refreshed air in your room. We also have vitamin C infused shower heads. essential oil infused mattresses. We have aromatherapy should the guest want to use aromatherapy. We have special lighting to help you fight jet lag. It works with the natural circadian rhythms of our bodies. We have a special alarm clock. So instead of waking up to a blaring alarm, it wakes you up with a more gentler feel. It has a lighting that's not so harsh on your eyes. And so we have those types of wellness amenities there. In addition, we have a Cleveland Mail approved in-room dining menu for this room category. Of course, if a person wants to order a burger and fries, that's still an option, but we do have that wellness menu as well. We want to encourage people that even when they're on vacation, they can continue that lifestyle there across our properties. So moving on to the next slide. What can we expect in 2020? Well, sports, as Joel talked about earlier, have made their mark here in Las Vegas, first with the Golden Knights, and now with the Las Vegas Raiders coming. The exciting thing is MGM Resorts has been tapped as the official pre and post party hotel for the Las Vegas Raiders. And so we have Mandalay Bay, which is right across from the Allegiant Stadium. And actually there's a little bridge, a street bridge, it's called Hacienda Avenue, that runs right next to the Delano and Mandalay Bay and goes right to the front entrance of Allegiant Stadium. On game days, that will be closed to vehicle traffic, and it will only be available for foot traffic. So anybody staying at Excalibur, Luxor, Delano, Mandalay Bay can just come right out of their rooms over to Hacienda and walk right across to the stadium. It's going to be a less than 10-minute walk for them. They don't have to worry about parking. They don't have to worry about getting in an Uber and paying an additional fee to get to that stadium, because the proximity is amazing to those hotels. We will also have tailgate parties on our properties as well. So we have a dedicated area that we're getting ready. We don't know what 2020 is going to look like now that sports are being played in with no spectators or just cardboard cutouts of spectators. So once we're able to have large gatherings again, we will have some really fun activations across our properties. And in particular there at Luxor and Mandalay Bay, we will have a whole tailgate section for people to enjoy. We are enhancing our restaurants inside of the Mandalay Bay shops and also inside of Mandalay Bay to be more sports centric, more activation centric. We have a great partnership with BetMGM, our online app for betting, and Buffalo Wild Wings. So hopefully very shortly we will have some new dining options there at Mandalay Bay for guests to enjoy. Moving on to the next slide, here's the WNBA Aces. Again, that whole area near Luxor, Mandalay Bay, and Allegiant Stadium is what we consider the south side of the strip here in Las Vegas. But MGM Resorts is taking it to another level, and that is going to be our sports area, and because that's where the WNBA Aces play there at Mandalay Bay. Then the Raiders will be right across from there. So that's going to be the whole sports zone. And then over at the park where the T-Mobile Arena is, we like to consider that our entertainment zone, because you have the T-Mobile Arena for sports and concerts. You have all that outdoor activity. We put stages in front of the Brooklyn Bridge throughout the park for live and free entertainment. And then right next door to that, overlooking that whole area, we have the brand new Park Theater, which is about 5,000 seats. We have residences there, very cool residences. As a matter of fact, we have Lady Gaga, Aerosmith, Cher, Bruno Mars, just to name a few. Those concerts have been phenomenal, and the reaction to that theater has been great. 5,000 seats in Las Vegas is what we consider intimate. So moving on to the next slide. There you can see the Allegiant Stadium. This is actually a picture that I think my boss took, and we were viewing the stadium from Mandalay Bay. We wanted to see what it looked like. So you can see there the second tower at Mandalay Bay called Delano. Very beautiful hotel, all one-bedroom suites. And coming out of the middle of Delano, you can see that bridge I was talking about, Hacienda. So if you just come out of our doors, get to that bridge, walk across, where that small parking lot is right in front of the Allegiant Stadium, that is the main entrance. That's where all the guests have to go to get into the stadium there. So very close, again, in proximity. And we are actually renaming fairly shortly. We're going to be renaming some of our hotel rooms at this particular property as stadium views. It's also, we've always had strip view rooms, and we will continue to have strip view rooms. But I think the next coveted type of room type will be that stadium view. It's gorgeous when it's lit up at nighttime. Our travel agent program. So we have been working to increase our communication to our travel agents. If you're not currently receiving these communications for us, we encourage you to sign up and get these, and just distributing information, especially right now. Communication is going to be key. Travel agents are key to our business. They always have been, and they will be more than ever as we move forward. And so if you want that most up-to-date information, please email us at traveladvisors@mgmresorts.com. Again, that's traveladvisors@mgmresorts.com. That email address is for all 13 of our hotels. It comes directly to our team. A director of global sales, one of us will respond to you. And so if you book a room and you have a special request, or if you just have a question before you book a room for your traveler, email that address and we will help you situate it out. And if you need connecting rooms, if you have a VIP coming and you need a special attention to them, please let us know. And again, you just need that one email address for 13 different hotels. It makes it very easy. You don't need to remember 13 different people. So we also have educational opportunities. MGM Resorts does host their own webinar series. Today we just hosted an East Coast event, Midwest and East Coast, highlighting what we call Spotlight Series. And today was for the Luxor and Excalibur. We've done Bellagio, MGM Grand and the Signature. We've done New York, New York, and we're moving on. We're doing them in clusters. We will very soon be doing Aria and Badara together, and then shortly after that, we will do Mandalay Bay and the Delano hotels. So if you'd like more in-depth information about our properties, you want to get in on those webinars as well. We also do a lot of social engagement. We travel around the country with Joel Peterson and the rest of his team. And so we like to get involved in that social engagement and find out where people are, and then find out where everybody is, and have activations across the United States. And then so moving on from the travel agent program, I think that comes to the end of our presentation. So again, we will be here to answer any of your questions at the end of the presentation.
Thank you so much. That was some fantastic information. So now that we've heard from both of our presenters, I'm sure that you guys have a couple of questions. So just as a reminder, you can continue to add those questions to the chat field. If you look on the bottom panel bar, you'll see two boxes with a question mark in it. You can go ahead and type your question in there and we can bring them forward to our panel. While we wait for a couple of questions to come in, I just wanted to remind you all that booking with a AAA trusted travel advisor is a part of your membership benefits. Our team has the resources you need, from safety protocols to the best travel deals. So things like dollars off, upgrades, bonus perks are all yours to enjoy because you are a member. Our agents are available by phone, or you can set up an appointment today. You can see their contact information listed on the screen there. So here's a good question to kick us off. Joel, I'm going to pass this question to you. Somebody's inquiring about the temperature test that you were speaking of earlier. What would happen should somebody not pass the temperature test? What's the process from there, and how does that work and affect the traveler?
Sure thing. So that does vary based on hotel property, but in general, most of the properties will have a secondary private area that guest would be taken to for further temperature testing. And if it does not pass, the guest would not be allowed to be in the property. I know that can create some, possible friction perhaps, but, at the same time, we're in unprecedented times, and, the hotels have to make some policy and protocol in the interest of the safety of all the other guests that are at the property. So in general, there would be a second screening area if that initial touchless temperature check was higher than the minimum temperature, or was higher than what they have said is, if you're higher, I believe it might be 100.4 or 100.5. If you're above that, that's where you'd be taken to a second screening area.
Great, thank you so much. Let's see, I'm not sure who wants to take this. Maybe Adolfo, this would be a good one for you, since you spoke so much about entertainment. Can you talk about how entertainment in Vegas is impacted by the current travel landscape, and what our travelers can expect from an entertainment destination like Vegas?
Absolutely. As of right now, with the Nevada State Health Guidelines, we are not allowed to have groups of 50 people or more. And so that just wouldn't allow us to have a properly social distancing inside of our theaters. So all shows in Las Vegas have been canceled. We right now at MGM Resorts, all of our shows are canceled through the end of August. Some of them have been canceled through September 6th. It just depends on what show it is, and it's all fluid. So we're just waiting for that green light from the governor and from the state health department to say that we can go back into theaters altogether. And I think what we're going to see are maybe comedy shows come back first, because it's very easy to have social distancing inside of the comedy theaters, right? You can spread the tables out a little bit more. You can close seats off if it's more of a traditional theater style, but you also only have one performer on the stage at any given time. So unlike the Cirque du Soleil shows where you can have up to 80 people on a stage and 300 people in total producing the show as a whole behind the scenes and so forth, I think those will take a little bit of time for us to get back. So right now, everything in Las Vegas, show-wise, is currently closed through the end of August. And again, that can be extended depending on the state. One option that I would give is at the Bellagio. We have a beautiful new restaurant called the Mayfair Supper Club, and it's right front and center lakeside. It has beautiful sweeping views of the lake, beautiful views of the fountain show, and we do have entertainment. So it is an entertainment and dinner experience while you're there. So different singers and dancers will come out, and sometimes they incorporate singing the song that is currently playing in the fountain. And so I think that is a very unique experience, and it's the closest thing to entertainment that we have in Las Vegas right now.
Wow, that's great. I love the fountains. That's one of my favorite parts of any of my trips that I have had to Vegas. So that's incredible. Thank you for that suggestion. I love that. I'm going to pass this one over to you, Joel. When is the best time of year to travel to Vegas?
Great question. I get that a lot. If you're looking, weather-wise, obviously summer months, June through August, going to be hot. It's in the desert. But pool season usually runs March through October, if that is an important amenity. A lot of times when I get that question, I always ask sort of what you're looking for. But if you're looking for value on let's say package pricing, the November, December, January, that 3-month window, I would say, would probably be a better time where we may see some better pricing in the marketplace. But of course, that can be changed. It can be very fluid as well. So it sometimes depends on what you're looking for in the experience in Las Vegas, which is why that's the value proposition of why calling your travel agent at AAA brings so much value to provide that insight. With any of us that are taking vacations, you want to get the most out of your dollars, especially during these times. And I can't stress enough how closely we work with our travel advisor partners. And AAA is they have it, they understand, they're knowledgeable, and they know how to package it up with wholesaler companies that sell the air hotel together, which is often a much better deal than trying to price in separate components. And your travel agent at AAA is going to know what companies they work with, what amenities they offer to really help make a vacation experience the most maximized possible.
Great, thank you so much. And then someone is asking about the difference between weekend rates and weekday rates. So Adolfo, I'm going to hand that over to you. Is it true that typically the weekend rates are more expensive or a higher price point than the weekday rates?
This is a great question, and I'm glad that it was asked. Absolutely. Typically, weekdays are going to be a lot less expensive than the weekends, and so you will get some really good deals, especially right now. You're going to find some amazing deals, and as Joel mentioned, booking through travel advisors has that benefit because we push out rates to them that are built specifically to be packaged with air. And so those are not publicly published rates. And we have some even deeper discounts in that particular path. And those are things that only travel advisors have access to. And so that really is a true benefit. And so I'm glad that Joel brought that up as well. But the weekdays right now are a lot less expensive because people are traveling a lot on the weekends, and that's true outside of COVID as well. So look for those deals. If you're flexible with your travel, consider a Sunday through Wednesday type of pattern for sure.
Great, thank you. And actually, I'm going to pass this one along to you too. Someone's asking if the pools at your properties are currently open and available.
Another great question. Yes, they are open and available. We are following state guidelines at the pools as well. And so we're only allowed to operate at 50% capacity in that area. And so that allows us to spread out the loungers. So that way we have 6 feet of space between guests who are not traveling together. A great option to really social distance is maybe purchase a cabana. But it is mandated right now that if you are not in the water, you do have to have your mask on right now if you're at the pool area. So if you're just relaxing, reading a book, having a cocktail or whatnot, you do have to have that mask on at all times. But as soon as you get into that water, you can take it off.
Great, thank you so much. And then Joel, I'm going to send this last question over to you. Would you consider Las Vegas kid-friendly?
Great question. You know what? There are definitely more family-friendly amenities and hotels that one might think are actually in the destination. We do have properties like an Excalibur that's part of MGM Resorts that's very family friendly. The Signature at MGM Grand, 3 individual towers, family friendly. They all have their own pool experience. They have kitchenettes. They have amenities that can be very conducive to families that are looking for some of those additional amenities in their room. And there's so many family-friendly activities that can be done, whether it's going on the high roller, or it's zip lining, or it's doing pink jeep tours out to Red Rock Canyon. There are properties that are off the strip as well that are very family-friendly, that have on-site bowling alleys or movie theaters. So I would say yes. I mean, I'm not trying to fool anyone. We of course know what's Vegas has been a gambling town, but over the years. But I want to make sure to take this opportunity to share that the reasons why people are coming to Las Vegas have changed over the years, and gambling is not the #1 reason. And we do surveys of our visitors and ask those questions. We have seen so many changes, and you all know it, living in the Northeast, and I live here in the Midwest. The amount of casinos that are now throughout the country in the United States are far more abundant than they were 20 years ago. And because of that, we've had to evolve differently as a destination, and to have those kind of family-friendly attractions. That's been part of that evolvement for us as a city. So, staying on the strip or off the strip, there's definitely options. But one thing I want to stress is we provide a list of maybe 30 different family activities through a lot of sales resources to our AAA travel partners, our travel agent partners. So please ask them. They can go through those lists with you to give you some ideas that you may not even know existed in Las Vegas. Going to Dig This, which is a company where you can get in a bulldozer, and have some fun out in the desert. there's really some neat experiences. And I have 2 children myself, and I wouldn't hesitate to bring them out there with my wife, because I know there are family-friendly, fun things that we can find to do in the destination. I'm not just saying that because I represent the city. I legitimately would bring my kids out there. So, but yeah, we've come a long way with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So it looks like that's about all the time that we have for today. So we appreciate everyone who joined us, especially to our panelists. Thank you both for your transparency and the inspiring opportunities that you shared with all of us. All of this information certainly has us daydreaming about our next vacation to Sin City. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our travel advisors. Their email is up on the screen here, so AAA Travel Advisors at AAANortheast.com. You can also visit the Travel Center at AAA.com/travel to request to speak to an agent, and one of our agents would be happy to help you. Thank you all again, and I hope you have a great evening.